Hello everyone, welcome back to Bootstrap Workbench. In a previous episode we went over how to update the Nano VNA with new firmware. I'll put a link to that episode in the description. Today I'd like to cover how to load a new firmware on the TinySA, which is a related device. They use the same, very similar physical hardware, they just have different firmware images. So let's go ahead and dive into that, get it done. Both the Nano VNA and the TinySA are revolutionary devices in the low-cost RF analysis area, with features that previously you could only find in very expensive devices. Now you can find it in the sub-$100 market. Just like any other computer, though, they can benefit from occasional updates to features and functionality, and in the case of these devices, that's done via a firmware update. Now, what we'll need to complete this update is a USB A to USB-C cable, the correct firmware for the device, the STM32CubeProg software, and a TinySA, of course. Make sure that the battery on your TinySA is fully charged before you start this process, just in case there's any connectivity problems during the programming. So you're going to connect it to your PC using a good quality USB cable. Now, you can get cables that will charge but won't allow communication with the computer. Just make sure you have a good quality cable. So then what you're going to do is you're going to go to ST and create an ST account and download the STM32CubeProg software. There is a little bit of a process to get that done, takes a couple of emails, but it is free. Once you get that software downloaded, go ahead and install it on your computer. I've already got it installed because I went through this process updating the firmware on the Nano VNA. So after that, you'll go to the TinySA firmware site, which is here on the screen. I'll provide a link to that as well, and you'll download the correct file. Now, I believe that we're going to need the DFU file, but I went ahead and downloaded everything except for the ELF file here with these firmwares. And I've got them in a directory that I've already got open here. So we can go ahead and open the STM32CubeProg software. Now, what we'll want to do on the TinySA is go into the config menu. My fingers are a little too large. So we're going to check our version first of all. That shows our version information. We're going to drop back in there and we're going to go to DFU mode. So now we are in DFU mode and on the STM32CubeProg software, I'm going to drop this option down and select USB. And then I'll tell it to refresh. We can see we've got a device here on USB 1. So at this point, we're going to go to our down arrow and we're going to find the correct file that we need. So we've got our TinySA firmware there. Now we can use a bin file or we can use a hex file, so it's good that I went ahead and downloaded them. Let's go ahead and load the bin file. For start address, that's great. We're going to verify our programming. All those options look good. So let's go ahead and start programming. Oh, we need to actually connect to the device. So now we should be able to start programming. All right, and so our download to the device is in progress, and download verified successfully. File download is complete. Yeah, and it looks like scrolling back up through the list here, I can see that it did successfully program the device. So let's go ahead and go back to the device. Now, what we have to do to get out of DFU mode is turn the device off and then back on. And I can already see that there are some changes here. So we'll go back to the config menu and then we'll go to version. And we can see that now, based on the build date and the version number, we are on the updated version. So that worked out perfectly. All right. So it looks like everything was a success here. and I will go ahead and test the device out. Now on the Nano VNA, it's best to rerun a calibration. You don't have to do that here, although I believe there are ways to run a calibration on this. In fact, I usually don't calibrate my TinySA or my Nano VNA. I'm just trying to get a seat of the pants feeling for how my antennas are performing, for instance, on the Nano VNA. So I do that if I upgrade the firmware on the device or if I do a full reset, but I don't redo the calibration every time I'm taking a measurement. So there we go. That's a quick run through on how to do this process. And if you found the video helpful, then make sure to like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.